Hey guys, so in my last video I talked about survival knives and bushcraft knives and a few of the differences that I would say separate them. One of the main things that I would highlight is a survival knife is something that you would consider as a one-tool option. It's something when you don't have an axe, when you don't have a saw, you can do every task that's necessary to build a shelter, to prep firewood, to dismember a door. Whatever you need to do, you can do with a survival knife without having an axe, a saw, and a knife. The epitome of a survival knife, I would say, is this Esee RB3. It's a 10-inch blade, 3/16 steel, 1095 high carbon steel blade. It's something that you can hack with, that you can carve with if necessary, you can pry with if necessary. You can do anything that you need a survival blade to do with this knife without having an axe, without having a small knife. It's not going to be ideal for any one purpose, save maybe chopping, and even then it's not going to chop as efficiently as an axe. But it will do everything well enough to get the job done without having multiple tools in your pack. On the other end of the spectrum is bushcraft knife. This is a Battle Horse Sitsu bushcraft knife. It's a Scandinavian grind 01 tool steel, about a 3.5-inch blade. Micarta handle scales, extremely comfortable to carve with, to notch with, to do any kind of cutting task you require. But if you had to do prying, if you had to do chopping, some of the tasks that you would use an axe for or a crowbar for, ideally, this wouldn't be your choice. For a wilderness survival knife, when accompanied by an axe or a saw, this is an excellent choice. It is actually a good buddy of mine said this is the knife he would take with him if he ever went on the TV show alone, because it's just such a good wilderness survival knife. But in that scenario, you have an axe or a saw. If you had to do just every survival task with this knife, it might be too small. So in this video, basically what I'm going to do is try to demonstrate the difference between a survival knife and a bushcraft knife, while realizing the best survival knife is a survival knife you have with you in a survival scenario, and that every knife is more ideal for certain tasks than other knives. I still want to demonstrate why I say there is some separation between a survival knife category and the bush knife category. The two knives I use for this demonstration are what I believe is a good survival knife, the BK2. It's a 1/4 inch thick, as I've already talked about. A 1095 high carbon steel 5-inch blade. It's a beast of a knife. Super heavy, super strong. You can chop with it, you can carve with it, you can pry with it. In fact, people lovingly use the term a sharpened pry bar when talking about this knife. It's a very good knife. It's a very good survival knife, and I'll demonstrate some of the things it can do shortly. The knife we'll use for the bushcraft knife is this Esee RB3 Scandinavian grind, 1095 high carbon steel, 3.5-inch blade. It's a great blade, great bushcraft blade. We'll demonstrate against the BK2 some of the differences. So one of the first things that I do when I get to my camp is build a throwing stick that I can also use for digging, and I can also use for batoning through wood. So I have just about an inch and a 1/4, 1.5 inch piece of hardwood here, and I'm going to chop through it with this Becker BK2 to make the length proper for a throwing stick or a baton. I have this little pinky lanyard on here. I can throw my pinky through there and go all the way down to the bottom of the handle to this little hook and get more leverage from it when I chop. Went right through it. I'll shave off the bark a little bit for a comfortable handle. And just like that, I have a good throwing stick, good digging stick, and a decent baton for batoning my knife through wood. So the same task with a bushcraft blade, such as this RB3, without an axe or a saw, it's going to be long and tedious. Obviously, I can't chop with this knife. It just doesn't have the weight to it to efficiently chop. And you actually shouldn't chop with a knife this size. This is a cutting tool, and it's meant to be used as a cutting tool. So you can score all the way around the blade, all the way around the piece of wood with the blade, just biting as deeply as possible. Then you go the other way as well. And eventually you'll whittle your way down to the point where the center is so weak that you can break the wood. And it doesn't actually take that long. It's just much more difficult, much more time consuming than just chopping through it with a bigger, heavier knife, as you've already witnessed. Alright, so basically I just beaver chewed my way through that wood a bit, all the way around, and theoretically it should snap at that point now. So I just broke the center after carving the outside layer away. I'll take that little fork off because I don't need that for a throwing stick. And you see here that where I could just whack this off with one blow with the survival knife, I just carved through it a little bit with this bushcraft knife to the point where I can just snap it. Alright, so there's another throwing stick / digging stick / baton made with just a small bushcraft knife. So it can be done, but you see, obviously, with an axe that I'd always have paired with this knife, that process would have been so much faster. So this blade right here did the things of both of these knives in a small package. So you can throw this in your bug out bag, your survival pack, in your vehicle. You can wear it on your side in a survival scenario in a zombie apocalypse. This is a good thing to stab zombies in the face with. This is much more efficient in carving, much more efficient in bushcraft tasks such as snares and shelter building, without actually chopping and cutting through heavy branches. This is a much better bushcraft knife. It's going to cut far better than this knife. But this takes the place of a knife, an axe, and a saw. And that is why I call the Becker BK2 a survival knife, and the Esee RB3 a bushcraft knife. I hope that sheds a little light on what I was trying to illustrate the last video. If you found this helpful at all, please give me a like, give me a comment, ask your friends to subscribe. Anything. It's just a small channel. It's just something I like to do on the side, but I love your feedback, love your support. Really appreciate you guys. Take care.